Is the Canon EOS M50 still any good in 2020? In today's video, I'm going to be telling you about my experience with this camera, if you should buy it or if you shouldn't get it. What's going on YouTube? A-Train here bringing y'all another video. So if this is your first time on my channel, I help photographers improve their skills and grow their business. And I also talk about camera gear sometimes. So if you're interested in that type of content, consider subscribing. So the Canon M50 is a great little camera. I've had this camera for almost about a year now. Now, I'm a professional photographer, but I do not use this camera for professional work. I feel like if you're doing video or you're a hobbyist just shooting for fun, or if you're looking to pick content out on social media, I honestly feel like this is probably one of the best cameras out at its price point. So I have a question for y'all before I get into all the good stuff. Do you currently own this camera? And if you do, what has been your experience with the M50, or are you thinking about getting this camera? Let me know. Comment down below in the comment section and let me know. So let's get into the price of this camera. So you can get this camera along with the kit lens, which is a 15 to 45 zoom lens. You can get that for $599, which I feel like is a great price for all the things you can do with this camera and what it has to offer. Now they also have the creator kit, which comes in at $649. It comes with the body, the kit lens, I think it comes with a microphone, a memory card, and I think a tripod. I feel like the kit is a really good deal, especially if you're looking into video content and just social media and putting that type of stuff out, then that kit can really come in handy. Now I know a lot of people that's looking to buy this camera want to know about vlogging, especially if you're into YouTube and just content creation. You want to know if you can vlog with this camera. So make sure you stay until the end of this video, because I'm going to be showing you vlog examples with the kit lens, which is the 15 to 45. And I also have the 22mm f2. So I'm going to be vlogging with both of those and showing y'all examples so you can get a feel for how it looks when using those lenses. So let's talk about the video specs of this camera. I know a lot of people are interested in that. With this camera, you can shoot in 1080p in 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, and you can also shoot in 60 frames per second. So if you want to get that smooth slow-mo, you can do that shooting at 60 frames per second with this camera. And I know you're probably wondering, is this camera any good when it comes to photography? And I will say yes, it's pretty good if you're putting out social media content. Maybe you need photos for your thumbnails or anything like this. This camera can take some pretty good pictures, especially if you have good glass. It has the beautiful Canon colors that you probably know about. Canon is really known for the colors that they put out of their images coming straight out of camera. So the photos look pretty dang good coming straight out of camera. And you can also shoot in RAW. So this gives you more flexibility in post, you know, like recovering shadows and fixing your exposure, changing colors and stuff like that. Now let's talk about the autofocus on this camera. So if you're gonna be shooting video, I know you wanna know if the autofocus is good. Is it snappy? Is it fast? And yes, the autofocus is really good. And this is coming from somebody who primarily shoots Sony, and Sony is known for their blazing fast autofocus. But this autofocus on this camera is pretty dang good. I'm not saying it's as fast as Sony, but for what, you know, video creators need and just hobbyists and stuff like that, the autofocus is really good. And this camera also has face tracking, which comes in clutch. And when I'm recording with this for my YouTube videos, I never have to worry about it missing focus or just not, you know, being in focus, because it's gonna stay locked on my face. So that's another thing that I really love about this camera. It has face tracking in video, and it also has face tracking when you're shooting photos. So you don't have to really worry about moving your focus point and stuff like that, because it's gonna stay locked on your subject's face. If you feel intimidated when it comes to camera settings and nailing your focus, I like that this camera takes that away, because it's just so easy with the focusing system and the face tracking that you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so now let's talk about the menu system of this camera. And let me tell you, I love the menu system. One thing I've noticed about Canon is their menu systems are easy to navigate and just easy to figure everything out. And like I stated earlier, I shoot with the Sony system and I hate that menu, but this menu system is super easy. So if you're not tech savvy and you don't want to deal with a difficult menu system, then this camera is definitely for you. The M50 also has the fully articulating screen, so this comes in clutch, like I said, for video creators, people who vlog. You can see yourself and it's easier to frame yourself because you have that flip out screen. And that was one of the main reasons why I purchased this camera, is for the screen. So I really like the articulating screen feature. And like I was saying, if you're a vlogger, this is kind of like a must have if you're trying to vlog. Okay, so now let's talk about the size of this camera. I love the size of this camera. Y'all see how small this is. This is so small compared to a lot of cameras on the market right now. And when you use the kit lens or the 22mm, this is a very small setup. Like I was saying, I think they made this specifically for vloggers and video creators because this is a small setup. It's easy to vlog with, it's easy to carry around, it's not heavy. Okay, so now let's get into the bad stuff. Let's talk about some of the cons with this camera. So the very first noticeable con with this camera, now you can shoot in 4K with this camera, but the 4K is not usable. So when you shoot in 4K, you lose the dual pixel autofocus, and it also has a 1.6 crop factor. So it really crops in and then it can't really hit focus because it's not enabled in 4K. So like I was saying, the 4K is not usable, but 1080p is good enough. I really don't have a use for 4K. Those are bigger file sizes. So, you know, you have to think about hard drives, computer space, all that stuff. So I don't really find it to be like a huge con, but if you're trying to get into shooting 4K, then this camera is not for you because the 4K is not usable, but the 1080p looks very good. And I feel like that's all you really need for content creation and social media stuff. So, okay, so the next con is the battery life on this camera freaking sucks. It just sucks. So when I'm recording, I'm usually doing batch recording. So I'm recording a lot of videos and I have to switch out my camera if I'm recording for a long time. So if you're into video content creation and you're gonna be recording for long periods, then you're definitely gonna wanna get a backup camera because these batteries do not last long at all. All right, so the last con I wanna talk about is the lens selection with this camera is small. So they don't have a lot of lenses, but I feel like the lenses that they put out are really good and they have a lot of good options. You have the wide angle lens, the 11-22. The kit lens is pretty good. Do not sleep on the kit lens. And then you have the 22mm, and I think they have like a 35 or a 40mm or something like that. I don't think it's a deal breaker, but it's just something to keep in mind that you don't have a bunch of options when it comes to lens selection with this camera. Now, I also wanted to mention that Sigma recently came out with some lenses for this camera. Specifically, I really like the 16mm. I think it's 1.8. I really want to get that lens. And they have, I think, about 3 other options for Sigma lenses when it comes to this camera. So if you want to look into some different lenses, check out Sigma because they have some pretty good lenses for the M50. All right, y'all, this is me with the 22mm f2. And as you can see, I think this is acceptable for vlogging. This is my arm extended all the way out. So you can see how much background you have. And this is me just kind of relaxing. I'll walk so y'all can see the stabilization of the video. This is me walking pretty fast. As you can see, it's really good. I'll go back this way. So yeah, this is my arm all the way out. Now we're gonna switch over to the kit lens so y'all can see how that looks. All right, so this is the kit lens. As you can see, that is way wider. You can see a lot of the background. Man, my head looks small. Looks so small. Now I'm gonna walk with this. So I think this is better suited for vlogging. You got this option or the 11-22. And this is my arm extended all the way out. Overall, I think the M50 is a really good camera and I am happy with my purchase. If you are a YouTuber, you're trying to get into content creation, just social media stuff, or even if you're a hobbyist, I think this camera is just right for you. For everything that this camera can do at this price point, I think it offers a lot of value and I definitely think it's worth it in 2020. So if you're looking for a small little camera to create videos and just photos for social media, you definitely want to check out the M50. If y'all want to see more videos on this camera or some of the lenses that I use with this camera, just comment down below and let me know. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, share it to a friend, and subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every single week. I will see y'all in my next video. Peace.